Well, hey everybody, John Rickland here, and this is my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling New Japan Cup Night 10 event. Pretty fun. We are down to the final four. I'm going to give this event a thumbs up, though, especially for the cup matches. Big thank you, as always, Jem, for sending me that little C-Block trophy. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that enjoys the content on this channel. A pull above my head, grade this event, and leave in the comments who you think among the last four will win the cup, because we're guaranteed a New Japan Cup champion. There's going to be no repeat, because Sabre Jr. couldn't quite do it. But I'll get to that in a bit. Kevin Kelly, Excalibur, and Rocky Romero on commentary. They did really good trio. Hopefully Chris Charlton will be there for the MSG event. I'm not exactly sure what the commentary team's going to be. But we start off with Tenzan, Kojima, and Yuya versus Nagata, Nakanishi, and Yota. Rematch, I believe, of the Night 9 event, which I understand on these tours. They tend to repeat some of the same matches, especially with guys that are no longer in the tournament, in a way to build some nice undercard feuds. But you could have varied it up just a little bit here, but that's okay. It was still a decent match for what it was. It was about the Young Lions battling Yuya and Yota, who starred in the dojo at the same time. They want to prove supremacy. Yuya did get beat up. Tenzan got in. Nakanishi got in the battle, him. So that was pretty fun, with those two veterans. Kojima chops. Yota got in, but in the end, Koji Lariat, big old Lariat, pins Yota for the 1, 2, 3. So that was fine. It was a fine opener, but again, kind of typical. And then we get Will Ospreay and Shota Umino versus Taichi and Taka Michinoku. And this is basically about Taichi and Will Ospreay having a possible feud over the Never Openweight title, provided that Will Ospreay retains when he faces Jeff Cobb in a title for title match, champion versus champion match, at the MSG show. G1 Supercard, which I am very excited for, I will say that. Shota, got in some shots, but got beat up for quite a bit. Ospreay got in. Definitely they're going with a feud with Taichi. I mean, that's pretty obvious, especially with the aftermath. Shota got back in. He did get in some shots and pretty impressive moves on Taichi, but and tapped out to a, the stretch, like the stretch move that Taichi's been doing, the sit-down stretch, which was pretty effective, and Taichi taps out Shota. And then Ospreay gets beat up afterwards, so obviously we're getting that match at some point. So maybe Ospreay retains. I think Ospreay's probably going to end up retaining. He'll hold the TV title for a little bit because Jeff Cobb is a TV champion, and we'll probably get Ospreay losing a Never Openweight title at some point, since Ring of Honor and New Japan still have their working relationship. But we'll see what happens. Not a bad match. It was getting a little bit better. And then a rematch of, I believe, the same thing that we saw for Night 9. Juice Robinson, Mikey Nichols, and Ren Narita versus Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Hikuleo. Same hype, for Juice and Chase, which is taking place for the U.S. title on the finals, so that'll be in a couple days. It wasn't bad. Juice got beat up a bit. Narita got in. There was some cane usage. He almost got Chase pinned, but that didn't end up working. Chase's package pile driver pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. So, of course, the Young Lion takes the fall, as they are supposed to, as it's all about gaining experience. Not a bad match. Just, again, even if you change the winner around a little bit, okay, you got to vary it up a little bit. However, not too bad. Then we get Michael Elgin, Taguchi, and Hanare versus Minoru Suzuki and KES, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Lance Archer. Not bad. Hanare had a pretty good showing here, which I was really happy about. Of course, Suzuki-Gun members jumped the action before the bell. Shocking. I know. Absolutely shocking. It's not shocking. Taguchi got beat up a bit. Thankfully, no cane usage, because there is no member of Suzuki-Gun with a cane. So we didn't get to see that unfortunate stuff that we saw in that match from Night 9. Elgin and Davey Boy Smith having a power battle and everything. Hanare got in, battling with Archer, reigniting the little, scraps that they had, or a little scrap they had at, in the first round of the New Japan Cup, in a pretty good match. He does well, but in the end, Blackout pins Hanare for the 1, 2, 3. So KES, gets the victory, as you would expect. And Minoru probably beat up only about 5 Young Lions when he got back there. Otherwise, if he had lost, he probably would have beat them all up. I don't know how many there are, but he could beat them all up. But anyway, now we go to an 8-man tag. Honma, Yano, Makabe, and Ibushi versus all of LIJ minus Sanada, who is wrestling in the New Japan Cup match later. And really all about Ibushi and Naito. That's really all this was. It was good, don't get me wrong. It was fun. You really don't get a bad match with LIJ in, any incarnation of LIJ in a tag match. Hanma was in. He did get beat up a bit. I cringe watching Hanma, wrestle sometimes, since I know he's trying to get back in in-ring shape, but all those, all that neck damage and stuff like that. But Yano's got in. Of course, the action went outside because LIJ does the dirty tactics pretty well too. Bushi and Naito with some good exchanges. That was some really nice stuff. Hanma got back in. Everybody hits in. Get a move, hit a move, hit a move, hit a move, all that. And then a, sharpshooter, scorpion deathlock, whatever you want to call it, taps out Hanma. So, there you go. I mean, getting tapped out, which was obviously what was going to happen. I mean, he was going to take the fall anyway. And maybe it's a good thing they didn't do everything as evil considering his neck, but still, it was what it was, and LIJ gets the victory. So, still, we got more Ibushi and Naito hype, which is going to be a pretty fun match. Now, I don't think it was announced officially for the finals of the New Japan Cup, on the final show, so maybe it happens at MSG. I'm not exactly sure. But but Naito and Ibushi have a lot of really, they have a lot of fans here. So they have a lot of fans in the US, so it would not hurt to do that match on that show. I don't know how many matches they're going to do on that card. I think there's about 7 or 8 announced. If they want to do 10 or 11, I don't think that anybody would be upset. So then we get Yoshihashi and Okada versus Tomohiro Ishii and Goto, and this is all about, Ishii and Okada, 2 Chaos members facing off in the semifinals. But this is all chaos, all the goddamn time. Not bad. I mean, Yoshi got beat up a bit. He did get in some good shots. Okada got in, hit some moves. Ishii kind of taking it to the leader of Chaos because, he wants to win the cup. I mean, they throw faction love out the window there. Goto and Yoshihashi getting back in. Ishii and Goto double team Yoshihashi, and in the end, GTR pins. Goto pins Yoshihashi for the 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired, so you'll forgive me if I stumble over my words a little bit. But that wasn't bad. That was fun. So the undercard, even though it was a couple matches were repetitive from night 9, was just a little bit better than night 9. As I felt night 9 might have been the weakest. But anyway, now let's get to the 2 cup matches, which are pretty fun for different reasons. Colt Cabana versus Sanada. Colt Cabana being the, unlikely, overnight sensation, even though he's been wrestling for so many goddamn years. Overnight sensation in Japan. He did well. There was some great mat wrestling to start out. Paradise Lock, of course, that comedy. And Milano just approving everything from the commentary booth. And I also love how Milano just loves evil and just has a little toy scythe thing, a condensed version of what Evil has, and just bows to him whenever he's making his entrance. I just think that's really funny. Back to that, Sanada diving. Colt doing pretty goddamn well though. Hit some good strikes. He tried for the Superman pin, where he dives and traps the guy's leg. He did get the Billy Goat's curse, which was that. It's like a weird surfboard stretch almost. I mean, it's just it's very odd, or almost wheelbarrow. It's very odd to describe. You almost need to see it to understand it. But that was pretty cool. Colt almost got it. Colt almost had it, but in the end, did fall to the skull end, and he tapped out, and Sanada is going to the semifinals, which is the right call. I mean, again, I wouldn't have had anything against Colt winning if they had Sabre Jr. win, but then it would have been too obvious what they were going to go with. So Colt losing here, hey, he had 3 really good showings, good comedy match with Yano, and just getting some good moves in on here, so it was fine. He had a pretty good match with Sanada. Those 2 styles you wouldn't think would work that well together, but they did. And then we get Tanahashi versus Sabre Jr. in a rematch from last year's finals. And it went differently, as I alluded to in case you guys tuned out or spaced out like I always do, even in the reviews. Tanahashi avenged his loss against Sabre Jr., which Sabre Jr. didn't make it easy. He had arm focus with a lot of submissions. He did work on Tanahashi's knees. Tana did also work on Sabre Jr.'s knee with, dragon screws and stuff like that. Tana did get stretched for quite a bit in this match, though, getting broke down. I was kind of curious what they were going to do, though, because I'm thinking, okay, Sanada advanced, so maybe they have Sabre Jr. win and face off against Sanada because they faced off in last year's New Japan Cup. Well, they didn't do that. Tanahashi kept coming back, even though it looked like, Sabre Jr. had the victory, having that trapped octopus stretch thing. I don't remember what he calls it. It's a very unique name, but Tanahashi ends up getting a bridging pin like Tatsumi Fujinami, and 1, 2, 3, and the ace is going to the semifinals. So, Ishii and Okada in one semifinal match, Sanada and Tanahashi. I think it's very possible we're going to get Okada and Tanahashi. I think it's very possible now, which I have nothing against. I'll be very interested though. I wouldn't have anything against Okada and Sanada. I don't think Ishii's going to win though. I don't think Ishii's beating Okada. So we'll see what happens. Okada and Tanahashi I wouldn't have a problem with because it'd be the last two guys that Jay White has beaten. Okada at Wrestle Kingdom and Tanahashi at New Beginning in Osaka. So it's going to be very interesting, but I'll say B. I enjoyed it. It almost went B-. I was like, yeah, I enjoyed this one just a little more than Night 9. So anyway, just let me know what you guys think. Leave in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. And also, I will be reviewing the 2 shows, the semifinals. I will be reviewing that live. And I will also be reviewing the finals live. I mean, obviously not live, but I'll have the reviews up very soon after the shows are done. Anyway, I'm John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.